Honorable Premier, I'm going to invite you up for a few remarks, welcoming remarks. And we would also like to just officially thank you for all the work that you and your cabinet and the government is doing in the midst of this pandemic, in the leadership that we are experiencing, and the rollout of vaccinations and all the programs afoot. Thank you. Please.
Thank you, Charles. Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to especially acknowledge again the presence of my ministers and parliamentary secretaries and the presence of MP for Newlands, Mr. Alva Suku, who appears to be slowly but surely finding his way back to the fold. But it's a pleasure to be with you this afternoon in beautiful Bordentown for not just one, but two important projects that will benefit all who use this beach for many years to come. As Charles has mentioned, I am of course referring to the installation of the fourth Mobi-Mat, as well as the groundbreaking for a long anticipated and much needed Corwood Beach dock. Many before Minister Seymour have attempted to get this done, but this time, for sure, we're going to do it. I am joined today by the Minister of Education, Youth, Sports, Agriculture and Lands, and the Minister for Health, Environment, Culture and Housing. I want to thank both ministers for their efforts in making these two projects possible. Minister Seymour, got to learn when to give way. Minister Seymour will speak to you with regards to your new dock. I would only add that I commend Minister Seymour for initiating this project some time ago and for his perseverance. He never gave up on the project, despite the length of time it has taken since he first requested consideration of this dock. But we are here today kicking it off, and that is what is important. In a few months, the people of Bordentown, and particularly the people of Bordentown East, will have one more achievement from their minister. And dare I say, yet one more reason to re-elect him on the 26th of May. Minister O'Connor Connolly will speak to you more on the Mobi-Mat, so I will not steal her thunder. But I will say that I am proud to be part of a government that not only speaks about caring for our elders and those with disabilities, but one that also acts. And the installation of this mat is just one of the many ways we are helping to make life easier for our residents and visitors. In 2016, the former administration that I had the privilege to also lead brought and passed the Solomon Webster Law, which was watershed legislation in these islands and a quantum leap in the promotion and protection of people with disabilities. And in 2017, my government also brought and successfully passed the Older Persons Act, which ensures that older persons are able to freely access and participate in all aspects of society. The installation of this mat may seem a small matter to some, but for those who need it, it is indeed a godsend, because it allows them once again easy access to the beach and our sea. I thank all who had a hand in making today a reality, and I thank you for joining us this afternoon. I will now, Mr. Brown, yield the microphone back to you.
Thank you, Premier. I would now like to invite to the podium Honorable Dwayne Seymour, Minister of Health, Environment, Culture and Housing, to give his remarks.
Good afternoon, everyone. Premier's speech was a little team. Mine is going to be a little different. But before I start, I was asked to sing a song. And I told them that I can't sing like my daughter. So I told them I would attempt a song. Seems that it's befitting where we're at. And I'd like you all to help me. Sitting on the dock of the bay, watching the tides roll away. That's all I know. But good afternoon, my Bordentowners, residents and visitors alike. Welcome to you all on this historic and auspicious occasion as we celebrate the groundbreaking of the new dock here at Cowood Beach. This is a long, long, long time coming and years in waiting. And it took Westerman promises, it took MLA's promises. Now this parliamentarian will give it to you. I can tell you over 40 years, the people of Bordentown have been promised this. And I can tell you this is not a last minute stunt on election year like I've seen other elected members do. Members are here that can tell you I've been working on this since I got re-elected in 2017. In fact, it was on my manifesto. No one else had it on theirs. Every month, I would terrorize them. Sorry to use that word, but I had to do it. Respectfully, of course. I was calling the ministry, calling the minister, calling chief officers, deputies, emailing, WhatsApping, bringing it up in caucus, bringing it up in cabinet, anywhere I could bring it up. And why I'm telling you all of this, because when you elect Dwayne John Seymour and give him a task, it will get done. And I get an amen. Let me show you what I'm saying. Things that other ministers and elected persons weren't able to do that I got done. The mental health facility, the capping of the landfill, the new bus for the Bordentown Theodore McCoy Primary School, a new field at the Bordentown Theodore McCoy Primary School, the Church of God Hurricane Shelter soon start now, contract already signed. And now out to tender a new school hall for the Theodore McCoy Primary School to hold up to 690 people. One bidder should be selected in the next 3 weeks, and work will be started by March this year. 4 pieces of beach property, pretty pieces of land. And looking at more, Bordentowners won't have to worry about beach once I'm elected. A crosswalk by the Webster Memorial Church, none of them could get it done, but I did. An ATM that no one else saw it was necessary for the convenience of Bordentown, these people. Bleachers being replaced, community parks being built, renaming of the Bordentown field, one of our Bordentowners, David Gerard Powell, affordable homes being built. Is this decent representation, ladies and gentlemen? Cowood Beach is geographically at the very heart of Bordentown. I know I won't be the only one to have whiled away many afternoons here with family and friends. I recall this was Burgrass capital at one point, but we still played here growing up. This beautiful beach has long enjoyed a boat ramp and parking lot so small boats can be launched and retrieved. But today we mark the start of the next phase, a boat dock adjoining the ramp. The notable thing about this boat ramp being here is that I got elected in 2009. We built a boat ramp. I was unsuccessful in 2013, and it went 4 years. I was successful again in 2017, and now we're building a dock. It just shows I am the person that care about this, and you approved my mandate when you elected me in getting this done. The recreational benefits of this development will be a myriad and improve the quality of life, but so too will the dock be in use to emergency services. There is no dock with a boat ramp on the south side from South Sound dock to the north side junction. Imagine if a water rescue was needed in the Pedro or Breakers area. The new dock will allow improved access to the water and to assist any persons in need. Increased access to the water around our beloved islands is important to keep our people safe. Today we celebrate a key infrastructure enhancement goal for Bordentown. It is also evidence of this government's commitment to supporting improvement for all districts and all persons across the Cayman Islands, regardless of where they live. Today, we take the first step along a journey to providing you with a sturdy and permanent structure that will impede sand movement across the beach. Access into it and out of small vessels will be facilitated by a low dock and firm surface, so all persons will have a chance to enjoy it. Fishermen Harold Stewart, Mr. Hahi, Mr. Tom Hill, Mr. Burley Berry, Mr. Cedric Levy, who's still alive, Mr. Norman Frederick, Mr. Sam Neasy, Mr. Marcus, Mr. Boris Frederick, Mr. Gerald Trusty, Mr. A.J. Miller would have all enjoyed this. And I also know that P. Black, Olson Levy, Mr. Willard Robinson, Mr. Louis Berry, Ronnie Minzit, Thomas Webster, King Bush, Hugh Bush, David Ross Evans, Mr. Alfred Berry, Stephen Trusty, Gary, Peterkin, Vinny, RX, Mr. Audley, German, Snakehead, Truman, Mark B., Dweeny, Dougie Fresh, John Bull will all enjoy this when it's done. Tie-up facilities for small vessels will be provided. The dock will have salt resistance components and can be used during normal wave action periods. Minor repairs will be easy to undertake. I am pleased to break ground in this project outside of the turtle nesting season. Cowood Beach is an important site for hatchlings, so it is important this project begins now since the season has finished. We mark the beginning of the construction of this project today and look forward to all the benefits I have outlined today when the work completes later this year. I believe this project represents value for money and is a very well considered use of public funds. This dock is being built to last and is robust enough to stand up to any potential storm damage we may endure over the coming hurricane seasons. Thanks to park managers, Mr. Crosby Solomon. Thanks, Mr. Charles Brown. That's really the person I talk about that I was terrorizing. Charles Brown, thank you so much for all that you've done in this project. Minister Hugh, Minister O'Connor Connolly. Let me pause a bit. It seems like not much I can get done without Minister O'Connor Connolly involved in it. She helped me get the boat ramp. And now again, we're here again with the dock. I just want to say to all Bordentowners, when you see Minister O'Connor Connolly come, accept her as one of us. I won't have to say anything about the Premier because he's a Bordentowner. I want to thank Ms. Sharon from the ministry, my PA, Ms. Teresa from my Bordentown office, Pastor Rose, Miss Carolyn for the food, my daughter Tahiti Seymour for singing the national song, Miss Kerry, the Mobi-Mat team, the Older Persons Council. I thank you all. May God bless you and bless the safe delivery of this project, and may He continue to bless Bordentown and the Cayman Islands. Thank you much.
Thank you, Minister Seymour, for those kind words. I have a sneaky feeling that my phone won't ease up just yet. He is probably just warming up. I give you one joke. I had, when my son was about 3 years old, we were trying to get him to taste different foods. You know how kids say everything tastes like chicken? So we gave him chicken. He said, all right, yeah, oh, the chicken, yeah, I like that. We gave him some pork chops, man. Yeah, I like that chicken. We gave him some, I think it was some curry something. Oh, I like that chicken too. So we said, okay, we're going to try him with a little salmon, fish. Worried about the oil, you know, but we will try it out. Man, he polished that off. He said, Mommy, give me some more of that slippery chicken. So a lot of slippery chicken gonna happen down here now. I would like to invite to the podium the Minister for Education, Youth, Sports, Agriculture and Lands, the Honorable Juliana O'Connor Connolly, to give a few words, few remarks as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. Now, I heard a slight mention to the wonderful job that Honorable Premier and the Minister of Health is doing with the rest of our cabinet with protecting all of us from COVID-19. But with the level of protection that they've given us, I think I can say we know that John included me, Borden Towners can do much better than that. Let them know how much you appreciate the protection that you've gotten so far and will continue to get. And of course, because we keep your Minister of Health and of course your representative, Honorable Dwayne Seymour, extremely busy, working long hours with Honorable Premier and Dr. Lee and the rest of those who are involved in protecting us during this very uncharted waters, difficult time. We couldn't leave Borden Towners out of the mix because we get the question so often, who are we developing for? Well, when you get that, and I'm sure you're going to get that as time comes closer to that important date, which I won't mention, you can refer them to the Cowood Beach. And why should you refer them to that? Because today is just another prime example that a country is known best. A country is tested best by how it takes care of the most vulnerable, and of that is the elderly. And we know that because of the quality of living and the social engineering that your forefathers did way back when you commenced the seat of democracy at Petra Castle. Borden Towners lived for a very long, long time. I think East End and Northside give you some stiff competition. Of course, Cayman give you a little bit more competition with longevity. But this Mobi-Mat here, which may be a new terminology for some of you, will provide that opportunity for all and sundry, but in particular those mature citizens to come down to enjoy what we get to enjoy today, sitting in here in the beautiful Caribbean Sea coming in. And John, I call him John, no, Disson, he referred to in his song that, you know, the tide is coming in and the tide is going out. Well, the tide only has to go out on this coalition government if you decide that we haven't done our job. But that's going to be very difficult for you with projects like this and the many more that we've done and the rest that are to come. Because once it's rolled out today, you will see it's not just a little minor thing. In fact, those of you who are reaching 60 and beyond like me that have issues with your knees, when you walk down that beautiful white sand, you find you have some difficulty walking down, but even more getting out of the beautiful Caribbean Sea. This will assist so much more. So please, I ask of you, before you leave today, take some time, maximize the opportunity to walk down there and resist the temptation of going in the sea if you have to go back to work, or et cetera, but it makes such a difference. In fact, this is the third one. We've put one, we put two actually on the 7 Mile Beach, one in Cayman. This is the fourth one, and we've gotten such wonderful positive feedback from that. And of course the dock, there's no question of the necessity, and the minister has knocked, and you know, even the good book tells us that if you knocked at first, you keep knocking. It's the one that keep knocking the hardest and the loudest, and that's the type of a minister you have. He has knocked, not because the government didn't want to do it, but we had competing priorities, and good come to those who wait. And nothing happens before its time. I believe this is the right time, the right minister, right government, and the right people. So when you put them all together, we have a wonderful project. Certainly our minister wishes to thank Mr. Brown and the Honorable Minister Hugh Public Works, the role that they played in assisting us in getting the dock. My minister provided the funding with the support of our parliamentary sectors and other minister colleagues that were there. But it just is another testament that when you have a coalition government, it takes more than one ministry sometimes to get something done. And when you're working purely, as an individual, no man is an island. It takes collaborative work united with a common purpose to get the best results. And that is what our United Coalition government, which is ably led by the Honorable Premier, is about. And finally, I just want to say that perhaps the most significant element of this ceremony today is to celebrate the cultural aspect of it. Minister John is also the Minister of Culture. And I don't think you could find anything more cultural than the seamen and fishing. We have evidence there today, although there's a function going on. There are people catching sprats, and you have to be Caymanian or had that deep desire to be Caymanian to know what sprats are. If not, I think that's Neville, one of those in the back there, who can explain to you quite happily, or Mr. Rose, what it is. And then we also saw somebody driving all the way down to the sea and what is the way to the ramp. It tells us that the need is here. And so I agree with you wholeheartedly, Minister John. No one can say without being successfully rebutted that this is an election stunt. This is a minister carrying out the promises with the keen, avid assistance of a coalition government led by the Honourable Premier to make sure that when the tide comes in a few months' time, the tide will not go out. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Minister O'Connor Connolly, for your kind remarks. Honourable Dwayne Seymour, I have to say that this is actually the second time that I have actually sent a request for proposal out, and we're very thankful to actually have it awarded. But your representative has been really working hard, as everybody has been saying. Even in the midst of COVID, he was calling me saying, "Where is this dock? We need to get this thing done." I said, sir, COVID is just warming up. All through last year, we actually had another proposal that we were pushing. We sent that out for award. It was not successful, and we made the necessary modifications and changes that when we sent it out this time, we were successful in awarding it. We want to thank Robson Construction for delivering this dock for us. And the minister just asked me to educate you on the time we expect that work will start here in earnest in about 3 to 4 weeks. And the project should continue for about 5 months. I also want to tender the apologies of my minister, who has been completely in support of this project from the very beginning through all of its variations, and he would have liked to be here, but he's sent us here instead. I would like to invite to the podium Mr. Wilbur Welcome, Deputy Chief Officer, Ministry of Education, Youth, Sports, Agriculture and Lands, to give the vote of thanks.
Thank you, Charles, and good afternoon again. It's my pleasure and honor and privilege to give the vote of thanks on this memorable occasion. I first want to stop and say thanks to God, with whom all things are possible, and the reason we're here today. I want to thank the Honourable Premier and the government that he leads for seeking to enhance the lives of the members of our community through projects such as this. As the Honourable Minister for Education noted, we have rolled out Mobi-Mats in other communities, and we plan to continue to do that throughout the rest of the next few months. My heartfelt thanks also to the Minister of Education for spearheading the Mobi-Mat project, which is supported by the Cabinet Office and the Policy Coordination Unit in that office, as well as the Disability Council and the Council for Older Persons. There's a lot of hands involved in it, and it shows the collaborative approach of our government in attacking this important issue. Special thanks to the Honourable Minister Seymour and his ministry and their staff for their diligent and meticulous work in reaching this significant milestone on the commencement of this major project in my home district of Bordentown. I think Mr. Brown mentioned everyone else, but he didn't mention his ministry. Thanks for all your hard work in the Ministry of Commerce, Planning and Infrastructure, and your hard work particularly. And last but not least, I want to thank all of you Bordentowners that showed up here today. I know this project is near and dear to your hearts. And without further ado, we're going to have some groundbreaking ceremony as well as the rollout of the Mobi-Mat. Thank you again very much.